You wrote an article for PFF that's really interesting. Buyer beware on these 8 draft prospects. So Jackson Dart, we talked a little bit about him. We'll go more in depth. Quarterback Ole Miss, Trey Harris, another Ole Miss guy, wide receiver. Isaiah Bond, speed guy from Texas. Williams, offensive tackle, offensive tackle from Arizona. Walker, the edge from Georgia. And Deion Walker, a tackle from Kentucky, as well as Morrison from Notre Dame. And to your point with Jackson Dart, what was he asked to do? A lot of the criticism was, Lane Kiffin schemed open such wide open shots that we have no idea if he can throw into tight windows.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's going to be big with him to understand what he knows about defenses and how to orchestrate himself into a second and third read, because what you see so often in that offense is that they just have more talented players on the outside than, especially a lot of the softer competition that they played early in the schedule when you think about non-conference things like that, and they can just run by people and chuck up as many deep shots as they want. So, to put a number behind it, Jackson Dart's average depth of target was almost 12 yards this year. That's not going to fly in the NFL, where this year the only quarterback with an average depth of target that high was Anthony Richardson, and he's really been struggling at Indianapolis, right? So he's got to tone it down a little bit. NFL defenses are not going to just allow you those deep shots that a lot of college defenses do, because they're just not talented enough, right? So the argument with Dart is perfectly understandable. He's very talented. You can see he's got probably B to B plus traits all the way around. He's a good athlete. He's got a good arm, but can he speed it up? And when he's prevented from taking those deep shots, because that's why he kind of struggled throughout his career to beat teams like Georgia and Alabama, because those are NFL caliber defenses that take away the deep balls. So it's going to be about his footwork and making better throws, shorter throws in rhythm, and to be able to just pick up first downs.
Harris and Bond, 2 of the wide receivers. What do you look at and see with them?
So Harris, it just rides right along with Dart, where you can see the limited route tree that he had at Ole Miss. He was very good at, right? Ran a lot of go balls. He's got a really good body here and there. Would pick up some big chunk plays on screens, but there's not a lot of diversity to the routes, and he's not all that twitchy an athlete, I think. So he's a guy that, look, some people are going to be really high on because the stats are awesome. They look fantastic down there at Ole Miss, but then you realize the same thing. A lot of it's deep shots, and a lot of it's deep shots against softer defenses. That's going to be an issue when it comes to trying to teach him the other ins and outs of an offense. And then Bond, it just didn't feel like he had the year that he was supposed to at Texas, and we're seeing that now with Matthew Golden, his teammate, really surpassing him, on the draft boards. Whereas Bond, it feels like outside of the speed, and he's going to go out this coming week and run a great 40, but there's a lot of details and a lot of physicality that needs to be added to his game if he's going to be a consistent playmaker.